How much money does it take for your project to go down the street and back? Let's find out. What is going on, my car people? Welcome back to Speed Trends Racing. And on this video, we are going to start digging into the C30, which is right here. And man, I have been wanting to do this for a very long time. And I'm going to tell you guys all about the plan and how much I want to spend. It's just going to be great. Let's get to it. All right, guys, so here's the plan. So I have not driven this truck in about 3 years, and the goal is I want to drive this truck down the street and do a great burnout and then come back. That's the whole goal. So I know right off the rip that this truck runs well enough to where I'm not even worried about like tuning the carb or make sure it's got wide open throttle, all that stuff. It runs very well. But the brakes don't work and it leaks water like a sieve, man. So I know that the brake master cylinder is probably shot in this thing because it has just like no pedal. It just goes to the floor. So I think the seal is broken into that. So we're going to get a new master cylinder. Then I'm going to try to patch up or flex seal or whatever I got to do with the radiator and then get a freeze plug. And then it should be good enough to where we can drive it down the road and back. And so I'm trying to do this as cheaply as possible. We're going to keep track on a piece of paper of every penny spent. And my goal is to be able to tow my car to the racetrack and have it run well enough and be reliable enough to do that for $1,000. So let's get to work. So I have made a little list of everything I want to do for the truck to be able to go down the street and back. And the first thing I'm going to try to conquer is taking this radiator out fairly easy and then try to patch it. So let's get to it. That one's going to need a little bit of persuasion. Go. That was really on there. Wow. Cannot believe how hard these are to take off. I just did these radiator hoses not too long ago. As I'm doing this, I remember there was a Roadkill episode that I watched where David Freiberger was giving like a little quick tip. He says, grease up the ends of your radiator hose so they'll just slide off. And I did not do that. Whew. All right. Awesome. Man, I really hope I can patch this, because if not, these radiators are at least $200 or more. Just got the radiator out. I got the bottom radiator hose pinched off with the zip tie so I could fill this thing up with water. And most likely I'm gonna have a hole here, there, pretty much everywhere. Find out where all the holes are and figure out how I'm gonna patch them. All right, time to put some water in it and see where the leaks are. Okay. Here's one. There's two. That's the ones I've seen. I'm trying to get it full enough to where I can get all the way to the top. Okay, so there's a hole up here too. Wow. 3 holes. All right. So here's the bad news, guys, is that I have 1 hole there, 1 hole here, and 1 hole here in this radiator. And so as I get closer into inspecting them, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fix those or not, but I have this Flex Seal that's just laying around. So might as well try this. Got my Flex Seal here. It says that you have to shake it well and make sure the spots that you're trying to seal up are dry. So I'm just gonna go and spray it on and see what we got. Probably gonna take a couple coats. When working on your project, you gotta have a list. So here is mine. Mission 1, go down the street. This is everything required. So radiator leak. We just figured out the 3 holes in the radiator, and hopefully the Flex Seal will hold up for at least going down the street and back and doing 1 burnout. I would be happy with that. Getting a freeze plug, greasing the ball joints and the U-joints. I had done that off camera. I did the front suspension and the drive line all the way to the diff. Transmission fluid, so I have to have the truck started to be able to check the transmission fluid, so that's going to be here once we get the radiator all fixed and everything. Also, trans lines. So the trans lines I used to have in this thing were hard lined. They went from here on the left side of the radiator and then all the way through the frame and the cross member to the transmission, and I had a leak in one of the hard lines, so I just ripped them all out. So I need to figure out getting rubber lines and ends and all that stuff. Then check the diff fluid. So far, ball joints, done. Check the diff fluid, done. And so the 2 things we need to buy is a master cylinder and a freeze plug. And then the 3rd thing, transmission lines. Back to the list again. So it's been a couple days and I've done a ton of research on what I need to do to get this thing down the road, going down the street. So I need to get a brake master cylinder, which is $47 on Rock Auto. Then I need to get a freeze plug. That should be like less than 10 bucks. And then transmission lines. So the transmission lines I could either do hard line or rubber line with fittings on each end. And they're about the same price wise. I've seen transmission lines be 50 bucks to 75 bucks. So I need to get these ordered. I just don't have any cash right now. So you know how that could be, guys. I just got to wait until payday on Friday. Then I can at least get a brake master cylinder and some trans lines. I could probably always get a freeze plug somewhere. So right now, I have been working on cleaning the outside of the truck, and so I've only spent $3.44 so far. So I had to buy some Comet and some Scotch-Brite pads and just several hours of just going over this thing like 3 different times in each section and getting it this clean. I still got to do the door and the back of the cab, right side door, right side fender, then it'll be all clean on the outside. And then I'm also going to be seeing if the radiator will hold water and various things like that. Let's get back to work. Moment of truth, guys. I just got done flex sealing this and it takes about 24 hours to 48 hours to fully cure. I've not messed with it before, but if it works, dude, I won't have to buy a $270 radiator or get this thing winter cord. So hopefully it'll just hold good enough to go down the street. Let's see if it does. So we got this hole, that hole, and the one in the top right. Okay. Forgot I got a hole in the back side of this thing too. That bottom right is still dripping. Sweet. Okay. So it's only leaking from that bottom right one. So, yeah, more Flex Seal coming right up. Well, guys, I just got done Flex Sealing this hole, so hopefully this thing will hold water good enough to be able to go down the street and back. And as you can see, it is dark right now on Wednesday night. I've spent 2 or 3 days working on the truck, and lots of success, man. It just feels like I'm on autopilot working on this thing because it's so old. I got the radiator out, as you can see, and I'm trying to plug that. I got the U-joints greased up. I got the front end all greased up also. And then I haven't been doing any filming on cleaning the truck, but I've spent probably 5 or 6 hours cleaning the inside and the outside of this truck, and it looks so much better. You guys got to check it out.
Artlist.io.
Man, I could stare at this thing all day. Guys, this really proves that if you have just extra time on your hands and you have your project and it's been sitting for a while, like for example, this thing has been sitting here like at the shop behind it for like 3 years, right? Hasn't had a bath or nothing. Dude, 5 or 6 hours later, dude, I get it looking like this, dude. Like, I am super proud. If any of my friends in real life saw this thing, they'd be like, dude, this thing looks like the best it's ever looked. And man, I just cannot wait for the next video, guys, because hopefully I'll have the master cylinder in, trans lines, and a freeze plug. And then if the radiator holds water, then we're going down the street, and it's going to be a fun time. I can't wait to get it out in the sun and then hit it with a pressure washer and get it like real nice and clean. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully you guys will see it on the next video, and hopefully you guys are doing awesome working on your projects. Dude, spring is just around the corner, and I can't wait to keep on working on this thing, working on the hatch also, and man, just good times. Thank you guys for everything that you do on the YouTubes with like the commenting, the subscribing, and the liking and everything. I think I'm like at 294 subscribers. I'm almost at 300, guys, and I just enjoy hanging out with you guys, making these videos for you. You guys have a blessed night, and I'll see you in the next one.